Read the translation. I'll read the first verse, and then those of you who have your phones with the song, you can also read. Take the refrain is, O Radha, O beloved of Madhava, O you who are worshipped by the young girls of Gokula, all glories unto you, all glories unto you. East. Jai Srimati Radharani Ki Jai. So, yeah, really wonderful song by Rupa Goswami, glorifying Radha, how she dresses herself. She dresses herself for Damodara Rati. That means she dresses herself to increase Damodar's attraction to her. Meditation for us. How are we dressing ourselves? What is our consciousness when we dress? Doesn't, we can just be more reflective in what we do and how we do. Maybe not necessarily that we're trying to attract Krishna to us, but we're trying to please Krishna in everything we do. For service, I'm dressing. For Krishna's pleasure, I dress in this way or that. I love this also. A new moon has arisen from the ocean of King Vrishabhanu. There's a nice description by Rupa Goswami where, I think it's in the Lalita Madhava, where he says that Radharani has caused the moon to become ashamed. And that is because the moon is very beautiful, the full moon is beautiful, but it has spots. But Radharani's beauty is flawless. And so the moon has gone in shame, and then Rupa Goswami is very poetic. He says, and he's gone and hidden where? We've seen pictures of Lord Shiva with the moon in his hair. Yeah, so There may be some Puranic story how the moon got there. But Rupa Goswami tells us he's there because he's hiding in shame. Seeing the beauty of Radha, he's gone to the forest, and the forest that he's chosen is the jata, the hair on the matted locks on Lord Shiva's head, and he's hiding there. Can someone help me with the internet? And then also what I love from this song is where she's described as Karunamayi. Karunamayi means mother of compassion. Karunamayi. And that can give us hope. Radha is Karunamayi. She's the mother of compassion. Rupa Goswami says, Karunam Karunamayi. Karuna Bharite. He mentions compassion 3 times. Oh, be merciful to me, mother of compassion. I need your mercy. And then, just in case some of us are thinking, someone might be thinking, oh, this is a girl. Why are we praying to a girl? We need to be transcendent, transcendentalist. He says, Sanaka Sanatana Bharita Charite. He says the great sages, headed by Sanaka and Sanatana and Sananda, Sanat Kumar, these are 4 brahmacharis. They took a vow never to marry. Brahma got angry with them, cursed them to remain forever as small boys. They are worshipping Srimati Radharani. And so if these stalwart brahmacharis are also taking shelter of Radharani, then she is of a transcendental position. So yeah, wonderful meditation for us. Radhastami, prayer, Radhastami, chant. Okay, so just setting something up here, and then I will give a talk. I'm going to speak on a section of the Bhagavatam, so related directly to Srimati Radharani, and this, we have sections where Radharani is very hidden, but hinted at, indicated, and this section that I want to discuss with you today is very directly. Radharani is front and center in this section, not hidden at all. She is the main character in this section. Anyone have a sense of what this might be? Yeah? Huh? Well done. Yeah, thank you, Sachi. Well done. So we have a very nice painting here, very nice depiction, painted by Dinabandhu Prabhu, where Radharani is speaking to a bee. And we get here about 10 verses spoken by Radharani's own, spoken from her own mouth. So very special when we are this. I was asked to speak about Radharani so that we can be in a meditation to prepare ourselves for Radhastami on Wednesday. So if we, this is one way that we can enter into a meditation on her, into a meditation on her mood, just by, we can read, we can discuss this Brahmara Gita. This Brahmara Gita, it is one of, so we say Gita. What does Gita mean? Song. Very famously, in ISKCON, we study the Bhagavad Gita. It's one of our main books, especially for preaching. When Prabhupada came to the West, He came with which book? Which books? Srimad Bhagavatam. He came with the Srimad
Hare
Bhagavatam.
Krishna.
And he had spent all that time reading
Hare
the
Krishna.
Bhagavatam in preparation for
The
preaching in the
sound is
West.
not clear, Prabhuji.
He came to the West. My sense is that he changed his plan a little, because in the West at the time, the yogis, they were interested in the Bhagavad Gita. Everyone was about the Bhagavad Gita. So he started giving Bhagavad Gita talks, not from his own book, someone else's, Dr. Radhakrishnan, Mayavadi. Prabhupada would sometimes get angry with Dr. Radhakrishnan's translations. But Prabhupada's original intention was to teach Bhagavatam, and he did. He certainly did. But Bhagavad Gita as a precursor, an entry point for us, it works very well. It's still our main book for establishing the philosophy of Krishna consciousness. As we go deeper into Krishna consciousness, then it is Srimad Bhagavatam. And so Gita means song, that's Krishna's song, the Bhagavad Gita. In the Bhagavatam, there are many Gitas. There are many songs. There is the Aila Gita in the 11th canto. That's the song of the Avanti Brahmana. There is that's the Bhikshu Gita. Then also in the 11th canto, there's an Aila Gita, the song of a king who become bewildered by Urvasi, Aila. And so many Gitas there in the Gita. In the Bhagavatam, 6 Gitas. I'm showing 6. 6 Gitas are in the 10th canto, and these are the songs of the gopis. Can anyone reference some of these songs? We have 6. Huh? Gopi Gita, yeah, so one of probably the most famous of these is the Gopi Gita. This is sung by the gopis when Krishna leaves them during the Rasa dance, or just before the Rasa dance. Krishna leaves them, they go wandering throughout the forest of Vrindavan, and then they search, asking trees and creepers and animals whether they have seen the son of Maharaj Nanda. They go to the darkest part of the forest. It's a full moon night. So initially they search the areas where there's lots of open space, moonshine, but they're not able to find him there. Sukadeva Goswami says they go to the darkest part of the forest, so thick, so dense, even the moonshine cannot penetrate on a full moon night. They're unable to find him by their own efforts. And so they sit by the bank of the Yamuna and sing a kirtan. This is very instructive for us as well. We search for God by our own efforts, our empirical means, and then at some point we surrender and we just call out from our hearts and say, Krishna, please reveal yourself. And so so the song they sang is Gopi Gita, chapter 31, verses 1 through to 19. Okay, that's 1 of 6. 5 left, but okay, let's take Brahma Gita from there. So we have 4 more. Buddha Gita is 11th canto, so it's not, but it is one of the Gitas of the Bhagavatam, a very big one. It has other Gitas inside of it. But as far as the songs of the gopis in the 10th canto, it's not one of them.
Venu Gita.
There's another one that's very, very famous. Yes, yeah, very good. So online, well done. Haribol. Venu Gita is another of these songs. And this is very beautiful. It's sung by the gopis prior to them meeting Krishna. And so it is a Purva Rag, a song prior to meeting this boy who wanders through the forest playing his flute, driving us all crazy, driving not just us, don't blame us, but look, see how the birds have also stopped chirping. They're just sitting there listening to the vibration. Don't blame us. Look at the cows. They've even forgotten to chew their grass or their cud. They're just listening. Their ears are up, drinking the nectar of this flute song. Don't blame us. Look at the demigoddesses of the sky. Their hair has become loosened. Their clothes have become slackened. They're maddened by the flute song of this cowherd boy. Don't blame us. Even the clouds, they made friendship with this boy, and he's going overhead like an umbrella, but not to protect him from rain, rather protecting him from the sun and sprinkling some little dewdrops to keep him cool. That's the Venu Gita, chapter 21, a wonderful description of how Vrindavan forest is responding to Krishna's flute song. What do we have left? 3 more. So another is Pranaya Gita. That's when Krishna calls the gopis for the rasa dance. And then he says, welcome, ladies. You have seen the forest, now go home. And they sing this very intense song, we could say. It's almost like a song of renunciation. They say, why are you sending us home? Our place is here with you. Don't use dharma to part us from you. The purpose of religion is to bring us to be with the Lord, and you're using it to send us away. What is the use of these things? Family and social convention and religion, if it takes us away from you. So we reject all of that and we fully surrender to you. Pranaya Gita. Okay, we have 2 left. Another is Yugala Gita. After the rasa dance, the gopis are intoxicated with love and they sing a song about Vrindavan. Yugala Gita, Yugala means pair, and this song is in couplets. So 2 verses. 1 verse doesn't end, it runs on to the next one. And so there's a romantic indication in these verse couplets. I think 6 couplets. And how they describe Vrindavan is like very topsy-turvy, like as if you're intoxicated and everything turns upside down. So the river is flowing upwards, and the trees, they're not standing stationary, they are pouring their tears of sap, of love for Krishna, and everything has become opposite to what it usually is. And that's how they're experiencing Vrindavan forest in their love for Krishna. And then another song, then just prior to Brahmar Gita, is a very, very intense song. The 39th chapter of the 10th canto, this is called Viraha Gita. Viraha means separation. This is a song of separation. Akrura has come with his chariot. And Krishna and Balaram are sitting on that chariot. And the elders, they're standing there like ready to wave goodbye. And the gopis, they look at this and they say, are you people out of your minds? Krishna's leaving Vrindavan. Nanda Maharaj, what are you doing? How can you sanction this? Oh, you elders standing. And so they're talking about this among themselves initially, just like looking at the elder residents of Vrindavan and just the whole village there ready to send Krishna away. And they just decide to take things into their own hands. Up until now, their love has always been secret. It's been hidden. But in this moment, desperate times call for desperate measures. So they come out. We love Krishna. They run out onto the road and they stand in front of the chariots and they sing this song of separation. Don't leave Krishna. They curse providence. They curse God. How can you be so cruel to bring us together and then separate us? God, creator, why do you create the world in this way? You allowed us to see Krishna, to meet Krishna, to be with him, to hear the sound of his voice, to be in his company. And now that we have fallen and given our hearts to him, you're tearing us apart. And this, you're cruel, God, you're cruel, and Akrura means not cruel. He's been so misnamed. He is the cruelest, and he's called not cruel. What irony. So they're very, very intense. And finally they sing, Shri Krishna Govinda. No. Hey Dama. Govinda Damodhara Madhaveti. Shri Krishna Govinda. No. Govinda Damodhara Madhaveti. They sing a song. Govinda Damodhara Madhaveti. That's their final desperate appeal. They just take shelter of the holy name. After expressing all of their distress and anguish, and they're trying to halt, to arrest, to stop this event from unfolding, I again just take to singing Govinda Damodhara Madhaveti. Huh? Yeah? You want to chant the verse? Yeah, but that's the verse. Very well done. Yeah. So Brahmara Gita, it appears after Krishna has already gone to Mathura. The gopis are feeling great separation from Krishna. Not only the gopis, but all the Brajbasis. They're missing Krishna intently. But Krishna, he's also feeling this pain of separation. And so the feeling is mutual. All the Brajbasis are missing Krishna. Krishna is missing the Brajbasis in Mathura. But he has to stay there. He has to stay there because Paritranaya Sarunam, he has appeared to protect devotees, and Vinashaya Chaduskritam, to destroy demons, Dharma Samstapanataya, to establish Dharma. That's his mission. The mission, the demigods have asked him to appear on earth to do these things. And so he has a job to do. He would rather be back in the village of Vrindavan, but he has this job to do. He's staying there in Mathura. He's destroyed Kamsa, Jarasandha. He is preparing a big army of demons, actually, in the guise of Kshatriyas. That's the situation on earth at the time. The demons who have been fighting the Devas at an interplanetary level have now taken their birth on earth and are trying to take over the earth planet. And so Bhumi and the Devas have asked Krishna to appear. So he has this job. Jarasandha is amassing the army. Krishna has to stay in Mathura, also to protect Vasudeva, Devaki, his parents, Ugrasen Maharaj's grandfather, and the other Yadus. And so he calls his very intimate friend, advisor, cousin, named, you said it earlier, Govinda, Uddhava. He calls Uddhava to be with him. And he He's called Uddhava because he wants to send a message to the Brajbasis. He's feeling pain of separation, they are feeling pain of separation. And so he wants to send Sandesh. Sandesh. Sandesh means a sweet. It means it's a nice story. So Rupa Goswami has written a book called Uddhava Sandesh, Uddhava's message. Sandesh means message. One devotee in Mayapur tells a story how Prabhupada told him, bring me Bhagavat Sandesh, one of Prabhupada's books in India published. It's called Bhagavat Sandesh, right? Some of you may have distributed. Prabhupada told the devotee, bring me Bhagavat Sandesh. The devotee is thinking, Bhagavat Sandesh? Bhagavat means God, Sandesh, sweet. He wants some Sandesh Prasadam. He went down to the kitchen. Prabhupada wants Sandesh, Bhagavat Sandesh. And he says, okay, well, let's make some. And then they say, well, we don't have any milk. I said, okay, so Krishna wants to send, So Krishna is thinking, who can deliver my Sandesh? Who can deliver my message? What will be his message? So, first, Radhastami spoken a message to Radha. Okay. So Krishna needs someone very qualified who's going to hear his message. So go to his parents, to the gopis, to Prahlad, must be someone very qualified. So he called Prahlad, his cousin, friend, very intimate, and also very learned. He's a disciple of Radhastami. Very qualified. However, with all of his qualifications, he is a Jnani. Jnani Krishna. Those philosophies, those Krishna, those data, that's not but it's foolish by his Jnana. And he doesn't know Rajasthan, doesn't know quality of bhakti that is in the hands of the first classes. So Krishna is sending him, but he's the best that he has. Very qualified. Sending him. And Buddha, this disciple of Radhastami, goes to Vrindavan, meets Prahlad, so that walking with them by Krishna. The next day, the devotees they see chariot, next day the devotees they see chariot, and then they see a boy, blackish, bluish complexion, wearing yellow garments, flowing black hair, and Krishna. That's the so very, very excited. Filled with hope. They go closer, they say, looks like Krishna, but it's wrong. Like he's also wrong. But he must be close to me. Then is Krishna's cousin, who resembles Krishna. That's Krishna's brother, Krishna's associate, so that where the same clothes, they have just appearance, but also similar. Actually, all of these photos are. But his paraphernalia is Krishna's brother. The chariot that is also. So they know he's not Krishna, but he's Krishna. He's close to Krishna, so they gather around very close. They want to know about what's here all about Krishna. So they gather close, they're shocked with the silent reality, the multiple responses. They approach him with kindness as well. They want to reveal their hearts. How much to this Krishna? Earlier, they had fields. They once were, and so they take about something. And then they started by forgive all about. So we can pause here and just reflect a little about Prahlad and his appearance. How the devotees trusted as he looks similar to Krishna. But I was the Krishna. This is actually quality of the body. The stories of Samarkand is so passionate. His first answer is anyone who says Krishna's name just once is a passion. The following year, the residents of Prahlad and leading general agreed that how do we know who's a Vaishnava? Because anyone who chants Krishna's name, that is a Vaishnava. It's first answer with anyone who says Krishna. And regular sadhaka. Happens again the following year. The devotees of Sabda Brahmali pouring past says the Vaishnavas. They say, how do we know? How do we know this Vaishnava? Oh Lord, will receive them. One remembers Krishna. One chants the holy name. That's the question. So Uddhava was seeing his devotees of remembering Krishna and reminded them of Krishna. Identified him as a devotee of Krishna by his appearance. So this is very instructive as well. The body has this quality. Krishna is the best within the body, his own potency, his own qualities. Sadhava, sadhu, bhushana. So he has all good qualities. Picture of Rudika, as the body is tolerant, passionate, very slow. These are the luxury, these are the qualities of the body. And so Krishna gives that, he does that. When Ramachandra sent Hanuman on Sita, gave him what? And Sita would recognize a ring. Gave him a ring. And that will recognize this. And so Uddhava has recognized so, tell the story now. He knew Prabhupada before Prabhupada came to the West. And then Prabhupada would always talk about preaching the West. And then Prabhuji Maharaj, later, he was in Hyderabad, he saw the West of the body with the intense feedback and two walking on the street. The Babaji Maharaj said, I want to have this body in it. So that the body of the disciple of Prabhupada. Which is like so the danced for the video of Keshala, and then while he was dancing, the judge of the body was dancing everybody next time you know after that person has sat down together. And what he says, one, I think you must perceive the mercy of just because of the quality of the person. The word says, yes, I would somehow, but I would do. But another of my husband, you are God of my son of my. And so there was a recognition that happened in other places as well. Was a recognition. That's why they're needed qualities. So Uddhava has that. Side, and then they speak to him. And they say, we know you are see it in you, and we know that you come here on the instruction of your son. Probably he wants to for us, they're feeling some hurt. Probably he sent him for his parents, and he says the bonds of affection are strong. So he must have sent him for Nanda, and so. But he would have said it for us as well. I give some examples. They say, subjects they abandon the no longer older. Students abandon their teacher once they receive their education. A priest is abandoned once he's by a sacrifice. Birds abandon a tree once its fruits are no longer there. Yes, once they for us. Like this, notice there. Well as the perfection. So that's also interesting. Structure of this love in response to perfection. So simple. And here we see love of God. What's simple. It's also complex and with nuance. And so the gopis here see perfection, but there's also some tricks. Voice, words. But what is it for beyond? Also intimacy. That also reveals intimacy. That they can speak like this. Whatever is not described. These people, they have such a familiar relationship God that they speak of Him, Krishna, or the past. Some weeks ago, was Bhakti Center. That was the class, and senior devotee was speaking to me in front of the hall. I was kind of and also a disciple was speaking. Once I stayed with him, but I knew I had to go. So I was with him there, but I knew I had to. Finally, I was said to excuse myself. My wife, she said, late. But not what loudly, but loudly. Late. And then one of the other books. In other words, only she could say it. They can say it because of the intimacy. Okay, so as Buddha is sitting with them, and there, what Gopi steps aside, and she remembers Krishna, she thinks of home, and she finds out this one says, without the 12 to 21, 47 chapters. Acharyas analyze these verses and they say that there are 10 types of divine madness. Each verse they analyze as a different type of spiritual or divine madness. Prajalpa is one of them. Maybe you've been told, don't speak Prajalpa. But here, what Radharani says has been analyzed by Acharyas and described as Prajalpa, speech that denigrates the tactlessness of Krishna with expressions of disrespect, spoken in envy, jealousy, and pride. Parijalpa, speech which through various devices shows one's own cleverness by exposing the mercilessness, simplicity, ungratefulness, and other qualities of one's lover. Vijalpa, sarcastic speech. Ujalpa, speech that criticizes the duplicity of another. Sanjalpa, speech that uses irony to insult. Badajalpa, speech impelled with jealousy and fear, declaring Krishna's unworthiness. Abhijalpa, speech that with remorse states that Krishna is fit to be given up. Ajalpa, speech that has some disgust describing Krishna's duplicity. Pratijalpa, expressing disrespect for the messenger. And Sujalpa. Sujalpa is like a full reversal of all of that. Spoken with honest sincerity, the lover inquires with humility and gravity and eagerness. So this is how Radharani's words have been analyzed by our acharyas. She's speaking to Krishna. She's speaking to the wilderness, but her words are directed towards a bumblebee. Therefore, the song is called Brahmara Gita, the song of the bumblebee. She's projecting, we can say. She sees the bee and she considers the bee as Krishna's messenger and then chastises the messenger and Krishna with her words. So let's read some of them then. You can do the same thing that you did earlier. Take out your phone. This is the only class where you're being told to take out your phone. If you have it, some of you are like, no, I don't take my phone to Bhagavatam class. Why would I have my phone here? Because sometimes, very rarely, the speaker might ask you to use your phone. So go to chapter 47 of the 10th canto. Oh, yeah, so go to vedabase.io. Vedabase.io. If you don't have a phone, don't worry, because we're going to read loudly. And so you'll still benefit from this exercise with phone or without. So vedabase.io, go to Srimad Bhagavatam, go to Canto 10, and then chapter 47. And we're going to start with verse 12, 43, 45, 46, 47, called the Song of the Bee. It's Radharani's song addressed to a bee, but really addressed to Krishna. Okay, so who has that open? Raise your hand. Yeah, quite a few of us, so we can start. I will chant I'll just read the translation for the first verse and then we'll hand over. Text 12. The gopi said, "Oh honeybee, oh friend of a cheetah, don't touch my feet with your whiskers, which are smeared with the kumkum that rubbed onto Krishna's garland when it was crushed by the breasts of a rival lover. Let Krishna satisfy the women of Mathura. One who sends a messenger like you will certainly be ridiculed in the Yadu assembly." So over to anyone who would like to read next, text 13. Thank you.
First movement. Thus, we will two plus. My beloved sent you here again. I should honor you, so please choose whatever boon you wish. But why have you come back here to take us to him, whose conjugal love is so difficult to give up? After all, gentle bee, his consort is the goddess Shri, and she is always staying upon his cheek.
O Uddhava, it is indeed regrettable that Krishna resides in Mathura. Does he remember his father's household affairs and his friends, the cowherd boys? O great soul, does he ever talk about us, his maidservants? When will he lay on our heads his aguru scented hand? You'll see a complete reversal in that final verse. So I'll just speak about two of these, the first and the last, just to give us a sense of the contrast. The first is the example of prajalpa, where Radha, the definition of prajalpa, speech that denigrates the tactlessness of Krishna with expressions of disrespect spoken in a mood of envy, jealousy, and pride. Here she addresses the bee as Kaitava Bhando, friend of a cheater. Hey, bee, friend of a cheater. This bee that just happens to be buzzing in front of her, receiving such criticism, stern criticism, he called the friend of a cheater. He has some pollen on his whiskers because bees go from flower to flower collecting honey. Because he has that pollen on his whiskers, Radharani, she sees, so he has kumkum from another gopi on his whiskers or from some other Mathura woman. And so he's Krishna's friend. He has kumkum on his whiskers. And so he is the untrustworthy friend of a cheater. Krishna has gone from the gopis, now she's assuming, to the women of Mathura. So the bee goes from flower to flower. Krishna, he also has that nature from the flowers that are the gopis to the flowers of the women in Mathura. So all of this is being conflated together in the intensity of her love, and she sees the bee, remembers Krishna, puts all of this together, and then these words come from her mouth. This wonderful song comes from her mouth. Why is he a cheetah? Because previously Krishna has said that you have all given up your lives for me, therefore I'm always in your debt. You have defeated me with your love. Previously, he said, you have surrendered to me with the greatest attraction, and therefore it's impossible to repay you. When Akrura was driving the chariot away, Krishna has said, I will come back from Mathura. So all of these things, all of these words, they're recorded in the Bhagavatam. Madarto Jihita. You have all given up everything to come here filled with attraction, with loving attraction, yet I have given you up. Please forgive me for this injustice. He had said that after the rasa dance. So he spoke all of these words, and Radharani, she's remembering those words and says, just words. He was deceiving us. He was cheating us with just speaking words that he knew himself not to be true. And so she accuses him as a cheater and accuses the bee as his friend and says, the bee flies from the flower to her feet and says, don't touch my feet. I know what you're doing. You're trying to flatter me. Krishna would do such things. Krishna would say, make such gestures. It's not going to work. Not going to work this time. So our acharyas say an example of prajalpa. This is the ultimate prajalpa, right? Generally we're told don't speak prajalpa. If you're going to speak prajalpa, let it be this kind of prajalpa. Radharani's prajalpa, where she's chastising Krishna. Finally, in verse 21, we have sujalpa. Radharani, she says, is the noble son of Maharaj Nanda now in Mathura? Just as Krishna left Braja, will he leave Mathura as well? She didn't ask if he's happy there. She asked if he's there. Because she's thinking there's no way he can be happy there. Why would I ask a question that's going to raise so much pain? I've heard in some cultures it's considered disrespectful to say, how are you? When we greet, we say, hi, how's it going? How are you? I've heard in some cultures that's considered disrespectful. You just say, hello. How are you? Because it's going to bring up too much pain in the heart. So yeah, Radharani's not asking, how is he? Just, is he in Mathura? She's reflecting that Krishna is the son of Nanda Maharaj, a nobleman, a king. And he must be staying in Mathura not because he wants to, but because of some obligation to his father who authorized his going there. Then she's thinking, but then why would Nanda Maharaj authorize that? Because he was tricked by the others. That could be the only explanation. Krishna was brought to Mathura under Nanda's approval by some trick of the Yadus. And then Krishna, he must be suffering there. Alas, alas, how will I get back to Vrindavan? What can I do? And so in this condition, he sent this messenger. That's where Radharani has ended up. After all of her expressing all of her anger, jealousy, pride, resentment, then her soft-heartedness has won out in the end. And she is very concerned for Krishna once again. Is he there in Mathura? When will he again place his aguru-scented hands on our heads? So this is Sujalpa. When out of honest sincerity, a lover inquires about Krishna with gravity, humility, and intense eagerness. Let our Prajalpa and Sujalpa be of this quality. But let's reflect now. What are some implications of this discussion? We have read together, we've discussed Brahma Gita, we've read Brahma Gita together, you've heard Radharani's words. What might you take from this? We have a sense of her intimacy, in love for Krishna, very intimate, so intimate that she can even speak to Krishna or of Krishna in a critical way. What else might we take from this? That intimacy indicating how dear she is to Krishna, how close she is. And so for us, our process for approaching Krishna is to approach through Srimati Radharani. We say approaching Krishna is difficult. Radharani is Karunamayi. She's very soft-hearted. You see here, after being angry at Krishna, in the end she's asking, is he in Mathura? Not even is he happy? Because she thinks he can't be happy away from us. Can't be happy away from Vrindavan. She's very soft-hearted. She's Karunamayi. And so our recommended process is to approach Vrindavan, to approach Krishna through her, through Karunamayi, Srimati Radharani. What else can we learn here? Something else is that who else can speak of God in this way? Who else can speak to God in this way? Only Srimati Radharani. And therefore, she pleases him the most. Like, this is very tasty for Krishna. In an intimate relationship, then words can be spoken that cannot be spoken elsewhere in any other relationship. And so Krishna, he enjoys most when he's in the company of Srimati Radha. That relationship is most important for him. And we can say that Krishna is most Krishna when he's with Srimati Radharani. He can be most himself. Right? Krishna is amazing. The supreme Godhead, source of all planets and demigods, glorified throughout the Vedas, infinite glory. Balaram can never come to the conclusion of his glory. The fullest, highest, deepest, most profound manifestation of that glory, of that Krishna, is when he's with Srimati Radharani. And so if you want to see, experience, to enter into relationship with that fullest, most profound manifestation of Godhead, and you do so walking in the footsteps, walking behind Srimati Radharani. You stand behind her and her associates and maidservants, and then you'll get to see that Krishna. You try to see Krishna without Srimati, you will not see that manifestation. You'll see Vishnu, you'll see Virat, you'll see Paramatma, if you're lucky. Or you may see Balagopal, if you're lucky. But by walking by walking in the footsteps of the residents of Vrindavan, specifically, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Gopir Batur, Parakamalayur, Dasa Dasa, Anudasa. By walking in the footsteps, the foot dust, following in the footsteps, engaged in the service of the maidservants of Srimati Radharani, then that Krishna can be seen by us. What is our qualification? It's not there. Radharani is merciful, and her attendants and servants are merciful, and they've come in the most merciful incarnation has come to share that with us as well, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And so, Dina Hina Jatachilo, Jagatera Udharilo. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is lifting up the most fallen. Udharilo. He's holding them up high. So our qualification is mercy. For Chaitanya's mercy, Prabhupada's mercy. What else? Any other thoughts? Reflections? We also see here the power of kirtan. Radharani is engaged in singing. We're doing kirtan here as our sadhana. Srimati Radharani is also doing kirtan. This is a song, it's a Gita. She's singing her heart out to Krishna. Uddhava is going to be changed by this song. He is very learned, disciple of Brihaspati, Jnani Mishra Bhakta. When he hears the song, he thinks, what am I doing here? How am I to tell them not to cry for Krishna? How am I to tell them, don't worry, everything's all right? It's not all right. They're missing Krishna. And what they are expressing is the height of love of Godhead. Higher than the songs of the Vedas, this song that I have just heard, this gopi sing to a bumblebee. What is the use of all of my learning? It doesn't come close to the intensity of love for God that was just expressed in that song. And so he realizes, ultimately, this is an impossible mission, a useless mission. How do I tell them, don't cry like this for Krishna? When this crying is the highest manifestation, the highest expression of divine love. What is this mission that Krishna has given me? And he realizes the actual mission here was for me to be educated. I have been trained by Brihaspati, but my learning, although I'm so famous for my learning, actually it is small. I have so much to learn from these village girls. I have so much to learn from Sri Radha. And so he prays to become a blade of grass in Vrindavan Dham, that Srimati Radharani and her associates will walk on him, and he'll get the dust of their feet on his head. That's his prayer. This is how the next chapter, how it concludes. Uddhava praying. Let me become a blade of grass in Vrindavan. And when these gopis go to collect flowers for Krishna, I'll get their foot dusted. They won't give it to me if I ask. I am the famous Uddhava, Krishna's cousin, the great Yadu, minister, counselor, advisor. If I ask them for it, they will refuse. So I pray. Let me become a blade of grass here in Vrindavan and receive this benediction of the dust of the lotus feet of Srimati Radharani and her associates. So we'll conclude here. Any final comment? Reflection? Yes, please. Yeah, sure. Breeds contempt, yeah. Right.
What protects one, the love is one.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, good. So a question here that we hear that familiarity breeds contempt. So what protects us from that taking place, from that unfolding? And I would say it is true. You see Radharani, she is expressing some contempt for Krishna, and it is giving him great pleasure hearing these words of Radharani, this chastising of Radharani and the gopis in the Adi Lila of the Chaitanya Charitamrita. Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami reveals Krishna's thoughts, and he says, when my mother chastises me, when the gopis chastise me, when Radharani speaks to me in a disrespectful manner, he says, that for me is sweeter than the praises of the Vedas. So generally we take that as a negative. Familiarity breeds contempt. Generally the lesson we learn from that is, okay, don't be too familiar. But these wisdom sayings, we can also look at them from other angles. And these wisdom sayings, they have their context as well, right? So they have their place. And here I've flipped it to the Vrindavan context, where yes, become familiar. Seek that familiarity. Don't seek to be contemptuous, but seek to be familiar. So familiar to such an extent as are the residents of Vrindavan, that even their contempt is an expression of divine love. And so that's what I'll take from that. Otherwise, we are advised in relation to the spiritual master always to remain a formal dealing. So we protect ourselves from developing that familiarity by always dealing with formality. And generally, that's the way in deity worship. That's the way in dealing with Narayana. Just maintaining the standard rules of etiquette in order to protect one from developing that familiarity that then may lead to contempt. So that's the general teaching. And then as love awakens in the heart, then that familiarity can become more intimate, where in love, the lover can go against the will of the beloved because it's what they see as better for them. So even in the relationship with the spiritual master, it can come to that. There are stories, even with Prabhupada, some of his disciples. Right. Yeah. 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 Very good. In the beginning stages, it's the rules of etiquette that protect us. And then as intimacy and love deepens, then even that contempt can be an expression of love. Yeah. Thank you. Yes, Subuki.
He obviously loved Krishna, had his relationship with Krishna, and then heard Radharani, then he got a great appreciation for her love for Krishna. So when we hear of these pastimes like this, it's not that Uddhava necessarily wanted the same love for Srimati Radharani. Did that like increase his appreciation of Krishna?
Okay, nice point. Yeah, so what's been said here was that Uddhava, he loved Krishna, and when he heard the gopis speak, when he heard Radharani speak, it deepened his love for Krishna. Not that he wanted to become Radharani or to become like Radharani. It deepened his love within his very relationship. And so the process for us is to hear. That's why hearing is so powerful, right? When we hear about the Krishna's love for his devotees and the devotees' love for Krishna, it it moves the heart, it melts the heart. Something happens. That's the bhakti process. Something happens in the heart. And that something happening is what is desired. But you're right. The relationship will be what the relationship is. And so Buddha was hearing about Krishna's dealings with the gopis and Madhurya Ras. He's not developing Madhurya Ras. His relationship with Krishna is friendship. Deepens his friendship. And so whatever the quality of our relationship with Krishna will be deepened through hearing any of Krishna's pastimes. Particularly the loving dealings with the Brajbasis, because it is so intense. And whether it's with Mother Yasoda and Nanda or the friends, but then even more intense with the gopis. But it can nourish any flavor of love. Thank you. All right, we conclude here. Shrimati Radharani ki jai, Shri Brahmara Gita ki, Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Samaveta Bhaktavinda ki, Thai Gaur Premanandi. Tomorrow we'll discuss Krishna's meeting with the gopis, Radharani at Kurukshetra. There you go.